Tyranids stand no chance against the champions of the fucking end times. Foul Xenos.
I did not want to be a hero.
That sucks for you.
Yeah, that's kind of where
I
Val's
just
at,
wish
too.
to live the rest of my
Like-
life in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, same, but like,
What options do we have?
yeah. Like, sure, cool, great. Don't want to be a hero. Alternative to not being a hero, dying and becoming part of the flesh orgy.
Why do you think I'm here?
Well, you guys had all left off.
Conversation that happened.
Yes.
Don't know.
Yes.
You guys had all just left off, hanging out in the sewer after you just got done killing those weird creatures. So, where do you guys want to go from there? Because I think you were heading into roleplay.
Yeah, I think so. If y'all are cool with it, Val will go give Tasha a hard time about, like, what the heck, why she's so salty.
I'm cool.
Okay, give me 1 minute, because I'm going to refresh the tab. Because it was taking a
Yeah,
real long
it's
time.
not loading the screen for me.
Upload.
It's a black screen, just so you guys know.
Which is fine. I don't care if it's a black screen, but I hate the little loading landing screen up at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not connecting.
I had a question.
Are you
Are you
still
level-
online, Sotik?
No, I'm still here.
Were you level 10?
Yes.
Yeah, about halfway through, I think.
Why is Tao level 8?
Has he been playing?
He
Oh my
has.
god.
His character sheet is level 8.
Oh,
He's
no.
still super strong at level 8, and he needs 2 more levels.
Alright, let me rejoin here real quick, and then I
This
think I'll
man
be
might
good
be
to
a
go.
Oh,
legend.
I'm in now.
Wait, does he have like another...
He's got 2 classes, so he should be 8 of something.
Let me see his features.
Ah, nice
What's
table.
his second class?
He's a barbarian and something else, I think.
I thought that was Leo. That was a barbarian and like a fighter.
Yeah, I'm a fighter and a barbarian. I think Tao's just a straight barbarian. I'm going to... I'll go ahead and PM. Or Soltic, do you know if he's a straight barbarian?
I'm not sure, but you want to mention it to him and he can fix it when he gets the chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely very helpful.
He's actually missing because he's getting he and his family are collectively getting swole in the background, and he comes back with 2 more fucking levels, and Gabrus is like, yeah, this is normal.
I just got my downtime, it's fine.
It happens. When he
Val.
comes back after visiting his wife with 2 more levels, I don't ask questions. I know it happened.
Alright, well, so I guess Val's gonna, like, follow Tasha back around the corner that she headed to, and they're just gonna be like, what do you want? Like, I don't know.
Well, why did you hide your celestial heritage from me?
I mean, we
Been
had
together for
tons of
2
things.
years.
We had tons of things from each other. I'm not prying into your history.
You knew how I feel about the gods.
You apparently now know how I feel about what I am.
I mean, we were together for... I mean, I guess I was hiding this too. But... couldn't have said something before we started? I mean...
I mean,
on
could
the-
you
off
have,
on this
like, said
crusade?
something before we started?
I mean, when I came out with my armor on and stuff, you should have said it. Hey, I got special stuff too.
Oh, hey,
You
by
know.
the way, I'm gonna just get us, like... I mean, we haven't, like, been targeted and stuff like that before, and I didn't think it mattered.
I'm just... I'll get over it. Just
Alright.
all this is just too much. I just wish this was all over one way or the other.
Well, I'm sure it will be eventually.
Well, guess we should get back to the rest of the group.
Well, I think they have to come this way, and I'm gonna just like holler back and be like, "Are you guys like done smashing things yet?"
They are without disease. I'm helping.
Okay, well, I guess we can just wait here, and I'll like sit down on the edge of the sewer too, because you said the water was a little ways down, and I think Natasha said that she was gonna go sit out there.
Yep.
All right. So what do the rest of you do after you finish smashing the eggs? Two of your companions have left. You can hear them yelling, but you guys still just hanging out in there? Or you eventually go and join them?
We get out of there and join them.
Yeah, we'll get out of there.
I guess we
Alright.
should continue up into the city, huh?
Yeah, I guess we keep on keeping on.
All right, so you guys continue onwards. Just to paint the scene again, you're in this large sewer tunnel. There's the walkways off to the side. The walls come up, and about like 5 feet up, they start to curve, and they create a dome in the middle. There's a channel that's off to your side. It changes as you cross over it. Being careful, I think you guys figured out last time, like a way to cross over without people slipping off into the channel below. But the wood, is covered in moss and slick with slime and other stuff. But the channel's good ways down. I think it was 15 feet or so. Maybe it was 12 feet. I forget.
That sounds about right.
And then you have like these little smaller channels coming out across like the pathway you guys are walking on, pouring in. There's also various sized pipes that are dumping into this. As you're going through, you can hear in the distance like what sounds like scratching on walls, yelling, some of it human, some of it non-human. You hear creatures making sounds that you've never heard before. You've obviously come into a active part of the sewer. But whoever is leading, I want to say it was Tal, wasn't it?
It was Leo and Tao that was leading.
Okay, go ahead and give me history checks. One with advantage or one each.
I'll go ahead and just do with advantage.
All right. It is very hard to say for certain that you've walked through this part of the sewers, as it all just looks the same, but you feel confident as you try to think back, 5 days ago that you were here. Actually, it's been longer than that. But you're leading the group, ducking off into these little side alleys through these doors. Val easily picking them open. The doors are like half metal, half wood. It looks like they're designed so if the area floods, water can continue going through like these little grates at the bottom. But otherwise, the top of it's just solid wood. But you manage to get through these and close them and lock them behind you. You continue on for a while, not sure how long, hearing things ahead of you around corners. As you approach those corners, nothing's there. Maybe as you approach the corner, you can see something like slip away. Creatures seemingly not wanting to mess with you guys. But you eventually come to a point where there's this stairwell that kind of goes up, and you guys ascend it and find yourselves standing before this metal door that seems to lead out of this like little hump in the ground. As you look out of this, looks familiar to all of you. It looks like you're back in the King's Court, which is the area outside of the castle. But
Cool. Go ahead.
well, as you try to open it, it does not budge. But you do find yourselves here.
Alright, y'all know what that means. Step aside. I'm gonna roll badly on this. We all know it.
Well, I mean, I don't think that you should put yourself down before you do the thing. That seems to be jinxing it.
Okay.
Why don't we just kick our way in?
If you want to kick your way through a metal door.
I mean, I have smite.
Alright, I think for me it's this plus my proficiency. So +4, so
And your dex, I think.
that was a dexterity check.
Oh, wow.
+4, so 23.
Mm-hmm.
As you're working on this lock, it's a little more sophisticated than the others down below. So it takes you a little bit longer, and you thinking you're probably not going to get it. And as you're giving it your last effort, you kind of give it your all, and it just clicks at the last little second that you were thinking of giving up. But you do hear it unlock, and you swing the metal door open. Find yourself stepping out onto a cobblestone ground with this giant building ahead of you. As you guys step out and you look at the castle, which is made out of some kind of white stone, you see the walls just running all around you. It seems pretty empty as far as the actual land, the court goes, but you do see like tons of movement and commotion up on the walls as you guys study them. They don't seem interested in you at all. Seems like they're moving back and forth, and like some people shooting arrows, but otherwise, while they're active, doesn't even seem like they've noticed you guys yet.
Okay.
And these look like you said they were like castle guards and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're castle guards or soldiers.
Then, yeah. Well, if we know where we are, then let's find somebody that's probably on the ground down here to guard the door.
That
If
would
not,
be wise.
Like, call to one of them and be like, hey, expedition folks, we're back.
Hey, guess who didn't die? These guys.
You turn and you yell that up to the wall, which is about 20 feet up, and one of them kind of stops and looks at you and says, "King's inside," and he just turns and he seems like
A
he's
little preoccupied.
yeah. He continues on running down the wall. Outside of saying that, he doesn't seem interested in chatting with you.
Okay, well, I guess we'll head on then.
At least morale is keeping up.
All right, so you make your way across this rather large courtyard. There's buildings out here, smaller buildings that you think at one point in time people lived in them, did stuff out of them. You would assume that it was more busy here, even being that it's, the castle grounds, but it's just completely empty. You approach the giant doors to the castle and they're just swung open. You make your way inside. Knowing from last time you've been here, you kind of make your way down some hallways, and inside it's really a labyrinth. There's, the giant rooms have pillars. There's banners everywhere, pictures of what you would assume to be old kings. Carpet on the ground, furniture, stuff just sitting out unguarded that those of you who are used to taking things and selling them could appraise with just a look to be worth a lot of money, but nobody seems to care that it's just sitting here. But as you make your way through the hallways, you come into what you know to be the where the king entertains people, has them come in and listens to their pleas. And it's there's a giant room that leads up to where you would find him, and you can see what looks to be a platoon of guards or soldiers kind of just hanging out. And as you guys walk your way down the carpet towards the door to the chamber where the throne would be, they just kind of watch you guys go by. But as you get down closer to this room, there is a set of wooden doors that are closed shut with like golden bands going across them.
Alright. That's where the king is, then I suppose let's go.
All right. Well, this is where you met him last time, so you kind of made your way here. But as you push the door open, you do see the pedestal with the throne sitting on it, elaborate golden throne with all kinds of like tapestries and stuff in the background. But on the floor where people would usually stand and plead to the king about their problems and hear his ruling, there's a giant table, and you see these two figures standing in front of it. Give me a second here. All right, so you know these two figures. You've met them before. They're fairly tall individuals, over 6 feet tall, under 7 feet tall. They are dark skinned. One of them wearing very fancy silk clothes, very bright in colors, kind of like red, has gold around it. He has like smooth facial features. He got a short, almost stubble-like beard, black beard and black hair. His hair is in dreads, and he kind of has it pulled back with golden clasp everywhere throughout it. Stilly blue eyes with this like headband made out of gold going around it. And the other person, which you would know to be King Rashidi, the other person who's standing there talking to him as they're kind of like looking at a map with all these different figures on it representing stuff, is another tall, over 6 foot, under 7 foot, dark skinned person. He got dreads that are pulled back into a ponytail, but the sides of his head are shaved. He's standing there wearing white armor with golden trim around it. His hands are clasped behind his back, and you know this to be the first guard, Kamid, which here are their pictures.
They are identical. Oh, better.
But they're just standing there talking back and forth. As you kind of listen, they seem to be discussing how they're getting low on ammunition for their weapons and stuff like that. They have not noticed you guys yet.
I'll nudge one of the guys that's leading to like either step forward or like call out to them to like get their attention and stuff like that.
Oh. Hello.
We're back.
That too.
They both turn and look at you, with Kamid just kind of standing there stoic, just taking you all in with his gaze. But King Rashidi will walk over and be like, I was hoping you wouldn't get lost. It is good to see you all back. You have news to report?
Yes. We were able to purge the fortress of the what are we calling it? The incursions? I don't know. The demons, why not? They had a portal in the basement that we were able to close by killing a larger version of their kind. But I do believe that the land will heal in time. So, all good news, at least.
The person that was at the portal that we killed seemed to be the key to keeping it open, which is why it closed. I also have some papers that have some of the rune markings or inscriptions, I guess you would say, that were on this portal. Maybe somebody can just figure out by deciphering it. It seemed like it was... the language was partially infernal abyssal. Most of us couldn't really figure it out.
I see. This is great news. Just to be clear, you're telling me you've discovered how to stop how they enter our world?
I'm not advanced at magic, although I do dabble into it a little bit based off of what I've done before. But from what my understanding what the portals are is that there are two ways of doing a portal. One has to have a key to be maintained and opened. But this one was more that somebody was conjuring it in a sense. And by preventing them from completing its task, it stopped. the portal from being opened completely.
Do you believe that if you had the chance to see 2 more of these portals, you could end this invasion?
That's
It
what
would
I'm
at least
thinking.
be a good place to start. Now, the portals themselves are large and stone and very hard to destroy, but should we defeat the creatures guarding them, it will give us a chance to retake land.
I believe that it should cut off the forces continuing from continuing coming into this plane.
I guess our next step would be to find more and go attack them, would it not be?
Yeah. By the way, has anybody seen a? I would say it's more along the lines of a trademark in a sense. I don't know, but we did stop at a village that had a charcoal drawing of a sun being pierced by fangs. Does anybody happen to know anything about that based off of history or anything? Or have you heard anything about that?
I do not know what the marking means, but back before the fiends showed up, those seemed to crop up among towns across the land, and those towns were seemingly the ones targeted, at least at first.
Also, while staying inside that village, we did come across some sort of ritual that had the same exact signs of what these beings are. It was in a cellar. It seemed like it was I don't know, Gibris. What was your take on that? Was it sacrifice or was it more of a portal conjure? I couldn't pick it out either.
If those towns were targeted first, it may have been the way that they got them targeted.
That's true. And another thing, more information. I do not know how much stock you put in the gods as of yet, but I do receive visions from mine. I did receive a vision of exactly how these beings are made, of the biomass of people. Overrun them and then turn them into these things, though I do not think that is new information.
Kamid will speak up and says, "It is often that our soldiers end up fighting our own soldiers. Once they slay a few of us, they seem to rise up and fight against us." And
It might be some sort of sickness then. I wonder.
The king nods and says, "It doesn't seem to be anything we can stop. We just try to make sure we don't fall to the beast. It's getting harder by the day, though. Speaking of..."
Go ahead.
No, you can continue.
We came across a stone giant's corpse that seemed like it was fresh. Do you happen to know of any sort of settlements that have popped up recently?
In what way?
I should probably ask this question. Did that ship that took us there ever come back?
Oh, no. I have been in communication with him. He's on other tasks currently.
Okay. Then never mind. That answers my question.
We have a 100% survival rate on this mission. Very good.
Excuse me. Well, there are other things. I think it's better for you to see it firsthand, though, and not tell you about it. Kamid, and he turns around to the stoic figure behind him and says, "Can you take him to the wall and show them what we've seen recently?" And Kamid just gives him his hand over his heart, kind of a bow, and he says, "As you wish, my lord." And he turns and looks at the rest of you and says, "Whenever you are ready to go, I shall take you."
Quick question. Is Kamid the one with, like, I'm going to call it a crown. It's not probably like a crown. Or is he the one with the armor?
He's the one in the armor. You would know him to be first guard, Kamid. He's basically in control of all the soldiers and stuff. guards of the city. So basically, the king tells him what he wants done, and he makes sure that the soldiers do it.
Okay, cool. I was just wanting to make sure that my notes were right with names.
Before we leave, I will place down the what's it called? The notes that I used to get the what's it called? The charcoal notes that I basically scried on for the portal, and place them down so he can do what he needs to do with them, like on the table or something.
All right, he'll look at those and say, I do not know if anybody can figure these out, but I will at least have it asked around, see if somebody can take a crack at it. But thank you.
And then turn to Kamid and say, I'm ready when you are.
No, this way. And he just starts stomping off, walking past you guys. He is taking long strides. Those of you who are tall probably easily keep up with him. Those of you who are short are definitely having to quicken your pace.
Fine. Vowel Power Rock, it's fine.
Go ahead.
What?
I thought
Oh,
you
no,
were going to
it's
say
just
something.
stopping. That's all.
Nah.
All right, and he walks out and he walks back into the hall where you've previously seen the little platoon of guards. And as he walks by, they all of a sudden pop to attention. They fall in rank behind him, and he just marches the same way you came in, back out. And he leads off instead of heading towards the gate, which you guys can see. There's just a crowd of people outside, and there's soldiers standing in front of the gate going across the portcullis. You can see through it, and they're 2 ranks deep, and there are no weapons drawn, but they're standing there just watching as these people are pushing against the gates and yelling stuff.
Nope. Why don't you let them in?
Unless anybody wants to take in what they have to say.
Somebody in here?
I do.
I will listen.
Okay, you guys can give me perceptions.
Oh boy, I love this roll. My favorite.
I do.
roll. Whee! Well, that's not bad.
Hey.
Hey.
Look at y'all.
Nice.
Both of you can hear. The rest of you is just a giant crowd yelling, but the Gabrish and Natasha, you can hear individual people who are yelling things like, "We know you have food in here, bring us the food," and another saying, "Where's the king? He should be held responsible for this," and another one shouting, "The king's the one behind it, he's just trying to trick us." And there's just all these kind of hostile remarks that's being yelled. You seem to think that they don't hold people behind the gates in any good favor. Was
We
there,
have much to do.
was there something somebody had said or wanted to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say, why aren't they letting him in?
As you, he doesn't miss a step. He keeps walking, Kamid, but as you say that, he will say, "They wish to execute the king. They think we're storing food in here. Why would we let them in?"
Are you storing food in here?
You've stayed here. The food that we have ate was what you provided us.
Natasha, do you think it would at all be possible that you and I could provide some aid to these people? I mean, I can make food and water. Can you do anything similar?
No, I cannot.
I guess it's just me then.
Yeah, and this is probably a big city, even if you guys were both able to do that.
As
People
we're
can
walking-
survive several weeks without food, but only 3 days without water, and that's what sticks around. So maybe no.
Were you guys say something, Leo?
As we're walking, I'm gonna let him know and say, there seems to be some problems in the sewer. We came across some insect-like creatures that had blades for their legs. We took care of them, the nest that they had going on, but that's as far as we go. So I don't know if there's any more dangers down there, but it might be a wise choice to keep a guard at the post.
And this is why we keep it locked.
Hmm.
Sewers have always been a dangerous place, but more things seem to have moved into them since it's all begun. Not to mention all the people going down there trying to find water and subsistence.
Currently the metal door is unlocked, by the way.
I feel like we would have locked that on our way back by. We've been doing that the whole way. Whenever I unlocked
Did
something.
we though? I don't know if it was another check or not, so.
It hasn't been another check, but if we want to, I can roll another one if we would have needed to.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so we locked it, so I wouldn't have said that then.
All right, so he veers off away from the gate, and he takes you like up, so you can get up onto the rampart, and he moves you across that, and you can look out, and on the other side, you can't see everything because there's buildings that do stand up in the way, but you can see like off in the distance smoke kind of gently rising up into the air, which you would all be familiar with. You've been here since this town started getting attacked, but he leads you into a doorway and down one of the towers, and his men follow out. And he kind of stops and he directs his soldiers out. And as they go out, you guys kind of stand there for a moment. He doesn't say anything, but eventually there's a call, and he steps out and motions for you all to follow. And as you do so, you step out into a little like side street, and you can see the guards have kind of like formed a diamond. And you guys step into the middle of them. They seem to be pressing away all the townsfolk. As you guys are entering, the townsfolk seem to be drawn to you. But once you step out, he will close the door behind you, and he will turn and say, "To the wall. Let's make good time." And he just kind of starts leading. And as you guys are marching with this diamond formation of guards, they just seem to be kind of pushing people out of the way. Every once in a while, you guys are like having to step over bodies laying in the ground. As you find yourselves in the city proper, which this was a pretty rich city. So the buildings here are kind of ornately designed. They're multiple stories tall. Some of them kind of hang out over the road a little bit, but they're just flooded with people, shoulder to shoulder sometimes as you turn down the streets. Without the guards, probably would be very slow moving, and even with the guards, it's not as fast as if they were open. But people, as soon as they see this throng of people moving through the city, just all of a sudden kind of swarm and start pushing against them. You travel for a while. Eventually, one of you or all of you, as you kind of pass by, you glance over and you can see down one of the alleyways. There's just large figures standing there, and you can see beyond them like a bunch of other large figures. And I guess you guys would be familiar with Loxodons since you've been here. And it just seems like a group of Loxodons are kind of hiding out in this alley. And Kamid notices that you all glance over. Thank you. As far as I know, they are not. They seem to not wish to get involved in hurting people. Whatever their philosophies are, their philosophies.
No, you don't understand. This is good that they are here, not to hurt people, but to aid the people that are already here. You have people at your gates right now. If you could get them in, maybe, since they have clerical magic, maybe they can definitely help the people of this town and would ward off riots.
I don't think. Yeah, never mind.
We can cross that bridge on the way back. Let's carry on for now.
Yes, if you wish to discuss their philosophies with them, you can. We do not press the issue. But you continue on. Normally traveling this city from one side to the other would probably take you a couple hours. Back when it was not, so packed with people, so dense. But, you've been going for a while. You don't know how long it's going to take, how far you've gone. It just seems like you're moving at a snail's pace. But eventually you come out into this wide street. And the next thing you know, you guys just come to a standstill as you obviously get noticed, and people are yelling and pushing in and saying, "Why are you not giving us what you have? We know you have food, water." And they're pushing against the guards, and they're standing there trying to hold themselves. Eventually, a woman like kind of squeezes her way through, and she comes rushing up, and you watch as she falls to the ground. One of the soldiers holding a sword, kind of drawing it back with blood dripping off of it, and you watch a bundle roll out from her arms, and you can hear another person in the street saying, "I claim the child, that one's mine." And then another one says, "No, I saw it first." And you
I'm
guys
going to fucking push my way out, and as that woman's falling on the ground, I'm going to like heal her so she doesn't die immediately.
all right. Well, she forced her way into the formation, so you can easily step up and heal her. And the little bundle's kind of just sitting there screaming, a baby crying. But she's kind of like laying there, and as life is fading from her, you kneel down and heal her, and her eyes kind of flutter open, and she starts looking around, and she scrabbles over to her child. And one of the guards kind of like grab her by the back and just starts trying to throw her back out into the crowd again. And she's
I'm
like,
going to stop this guy. Quit now.
"Oh," and she just starts saying, "Please, please, you have to heal my child. It's sick, please."
I'll take a look at the child.
Okay. She kind of pulls back the bundle. The guard's kind of standing there, still holding onto the fabric of her clothes, but he's not like pulling on her anymore. He's just looking at you. Kamid kind of shrugs. But as you look at the child, it looks to be very pale. Some parts of it like have black, like rotting. The fingers are very black, like they're rotting.
All right, I'll just kind of put my hand over its forehead, say a little prayer, and 5 hit points lay on hands, cure it of any disease.
All right. So as you start doing, or as you do that, the crowd kind of goes silent. And then one of them says, "A cleric, they can heal us. Heal us." And then all of a sudden they start pushing in more. At this point, you're watching as the guards are like having to take back steps because these people are just pushing in so much they can't hold it back anymore. "Heal me. I'm sick too. What about my child? My grandfather needs healing." Just people all over are yelling that they need you to heal them.
Shit, he'll do what he can, I guess.
This is why we do not stop.
So you just turn a blind eye to people in need because it's inconvenient.
I'm just gonna
No,
like
because we
gesture
have
towards the
this.
crowd to like invite Tasha to like join in the help then.
Well, as you do that, he says, "No, it's because we have a city we're kind of trying to keep from falling, and we can't help thousands of people every single second. If you have the means, go for it."
I will heal as many. I will not have any more lay on hands after this.
Okay, as you start to like try to do that, they want to drag you away from the group to where their sick relatives are.
Alright, so would that be a strength save?
Are you like stepping out because the guards aren't giving ground either way? But if you're like, "Okay, I'll heal you," then like they'll say, "Come with me. I'll take you to my grandfather." It's obvious that. Go ahead.
I think your best course is to be like, I can only do this a few times anyway. Who like in the immediate like space, because if we don't like continue on with what we're doing, like it doesn't matter if you heal them, they'll die when the city gets overrun.
You're right.
I mean, if there's people that are here like immediately, like the kid, or somebody else, like by all means go for it, because I do think that like having some rapport with the like city is going to be good. But And I'll just kind of like
I-
cock an eyebrow at Tasha during all of this to be like, do you want to help without like outing the fact that she's a cleric and has some healing capabilities?
I don't believe I've healed anybody in this campaign yet. So
You kept me alive.
Yeah.
You did when Drake was playing you.
oh.
Just it was like a quick cure wounds because otherwise wyverns were gonna eat me.
We were literally tag teaming to make sure Val didn't die.
Yeah, it was literally
Pretty
like
much.
every round. I was like, nope, back at 0, heal. Oh,
There
back
really
at
wasn't
0.
There really wasn't much of a choice in the matter, I'll be honest.
Well, if you want to heal the nearby immediate people, you can do that. It will completely wipe you out of whatever healing you want to use. And once
I
you're
will.
out of that, there's still dozens and dozens more calling out for you to heal them or go see their uncle or their cousin or their nephew to heal them as well. And they just seem to like want you to come fix everybody's problem. There doesn't seem to be an end to it, even when you're completely drained of your ability.
I gave my all. I'm sorry I have nothing left for today. If you come for me tomorrow, maybe I can continue to help, but today I cannot help any longer.
You would let my grandfather die? What's wrong with you? And all of a sudden, go ahead and give me a dexterity saving throw.
Well, why is it always Dex, man? Why is it always Dex? Oh, good. This one's and +3, so that's a 24.
All right. So one person yells that out, and you kind of turn and look and watch as he bends down and stands up and hurls his shoe at your face. And then another one yells out, "Yeah, you're going to let us die." And the next thing you guys know, you're being pelt hit with rocks and shoes and just like whatever these people can find and pick up, they're throwing at you. They don't want to help us. They'd rather watch us die. And Kamid's like, we should get going.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I'll silently follow along.
You will not like it. But he says that, and all of a sudden,
Not wrong.
weapons come out, and they start forcefully making their way through. And people who do not want to stand back, they are not hesitant to use their weapons on them. But you're now being assaulted by this crowd of people just throwing stuff at you. You guys say you're doing anything?
I think we should just get out of here.
Hold on. Let's see here. Dang it. Tal does not have his roar ability. Oh, never mind.
All right. Well, you guys are forcefully making your way through this crowd down the streets. Sometimes you notice that people will fall out and new people just take up their position. The fact that people are yelling that you have food, but you're not giving it to them. You have water, but you're not giving it to them. That there's a cleric who can heal people, but he's keeping his powers. It doesn't stop. It just seems to spread throughout the city. And you guys are obviously now enemy number one, and you're all the reasons why things are going wrong. As you're walking down the streets, you also take in the grim sight as you see from some of the upper story buildings, people outside the windows ending their lives or have ended their lives. Obviously, a lot of people in the situation they've been in, natural depression and stuff set in, seeing no recourse, have taken that way. Kamid seems to be taking note of this, and he mentions it to a couple guards. And as he kind of notices you guys notice, he says, "We do not leave them there. We try to come back to take them down. Unfortunately, it seems to happen more and more, but we do not want to bring down the spirits of everybody with those kind of sights."
Did he at least get burials? Some sort of cremation?
We cremate them. We long since run out of room to bury them.
All right, well, if you ever need help with funeral rites, I will do what I can.
He gives a nod. It takes you guys a while, though, but you continue on, just seeing more death, more suffering, people pushing against you. It seems that the rumors of you keeping food and from healing them is just following you throughout the rest of the city. But you eventually make your way to the other side, and you notice that these buildings here start to look like they've been attacked, like hit by something. They've fallen over. There's debris in the ground. And you notice that there's not many people here, and as you get further and further into it, it looks like more destruction, probably from some kind of catapult attack or something like that. Things being flung over the wall, destroying the buildings, and it comes to a point where you guys are just moving through, and there's no more people. You would know this to kind of be the area where people stay away from, because when the sieges are like at their peak, whoever's over here has a high likelihood of being killed. But you're led to the wall, and again you travel up the stairs up onto the upper section, and for the first time in a while, maybe some of you stood here before and helped defend the town, maybe you haven't, but you're standing. Let's switch over. So you guys are standing here, like in the wall, and you're looking out at the fiends, and you can see the immediate fiends out there, and they're kind of like shooting stuff up. People are shooting things down at them. You're watching as catapults and ballista from your side being launched into them. You can see the broken bridges that are just crumbled into the water. Nothing can pass over them. You can see past the water, the shoreline where the shanty town and stuff used to be, and you can just see like a sea of the fiends out there. Same sight you saw before you entered the city, but now you're standing on the part that's being attacked. But he leads you to a spot where you kind of go up one of these towers and you find yourself at the top. And he walks over and motions towards this looking glass. And he says, whoever wishes to take a look. And he kind of like gets down and he points out in the direction. You will see what the problem is out in that area.
I'll go ahead and take a look.
I'll be right after him.
All right. Who wants to look through the glass? All of you, or
Leo.
Cabris.
I'll let everybody else go first, and like if we get to me, that's fine. But if
I'm not looking out.
I don't need to look out.
Okay, so Kelvic and Rillin.
Correct. That is a problem.
So you guys see way out there. You don't know how many miles away this thing is. You guys are like looking through this pretty large spyglass, so it allows you to see great distances, and you see this giant reptile-like being, and you watch as it kind of like waves up and down, and then all of a sudden the leg lifts up and kind of comes forward a bit and slams on the ground. You can just see like the ground spraying up with the footstep and dust and stuff. This creature seems to be as tall as a mountain, and as you guys are kind of focusing on it, as far out as it is, you can see like buildings and stuff on the back of it, and you can see what looks to be a black cloud over it, and you notice like the cloud is constantly like shifting and changing and moving. And as you're taking turns looking, Kamid says, we noticed it shortly after you left. Our estimates would be that about a month's time it will be here, and we don't think the city will stand once it is.
Leo, is that the mountain we were seeing back at the fort?
I didn't see any mountain.
Oh, well, shit. Damn.
Was it what I was seeing?
It was.
I don't...
No, you haven't looked through the spyglass, but you did see what looked like a moving mountain.
A moving mountain. Can
Yeah,
I have
you-
a
you-
look?
You saw it several times.
Yeah, I want to look. So
I hand it up.
Yeah, you see the picture I shared? It's kind of what you see out there. It just looks like a giant reptile. You have a feeling that as this thing got to the city, It would probably engulf the whole size of the city, how massive this thing is, but it seems to be moving slowly.
I mean, either way, it sounds like we've got a deadline.
Well, here's my question: how the hell do we kill that?
With great effort.
No shit.
Well, let's think.
Kamid will pipe in. He will say, there is no army between us and that thing. It is possible you could go around the sieging forces and get to it unharassed, but once you get there, we don't even know if you could defeat it.
I'll ask if this might be a thing that we need to ask King Rashidi instead, but like he obviously got information about the fortress and the portal that we closed there. Is there any other things, or is like that the only real thing that we've got? Because if it's going to be here in like a month and we have other things that we can do in the meantime to like help weaken things before it gets here, I don't know if that would be worth pursuing or not at the moment.
King Rashidi had other things to discuss with you, but he had wanted you to see this firsthand.
Has anybody figured out what these beings are, where they came from, what's going on? How did this happen?
All of those that we knew of the scholarly persuasion have been found dead or killed.
And they didn't leave any notes or word or anything like that.
The papers from their studies, but it doesn't seem any of them really particularly studied these things.
Yeah, I'd imagine that actively studying a lot of fiendish stuff would probably be pretty frowned upon, at least socially, if not legally.
No, I do not know of any who ever really studied these.
I would want to.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to have that info now, but yeah, I don't
Pretty
know many
frowned
people that would
upon.
really want to. Well,
I was thinking along the lines if any rumors popped up, like people that came from other cities or anything like that heard something or knows of something, whether it's a rumor or a fairy tale or a story, whatever the thing is, there has to be some sort of truth behind it. Seeing how the
Perhaps
townsfolk are, it's highly unlikely though.
Perhaps we should go back and talk to the king.
I agree.
Now, if you are all ready, we can try to make our way back.
alright, I think I am.
Is there any way we can just make our way back across the walls?
Some of them are damaged too badly for us to continue across them. I could take you a less hazardous way back if you wish.
Considering the show that happened earlier, probably a good idea.
Sorry.
He kind of turns, gives Natasha a glance, and then looks at the back of the rest of you and says, now you see why we do not let them into the castle. But let's continue. And him and his troops start making their way back down. And you follow them unless you don't want to. You guys can stop me whenever. But you follow them back down, and again, you take formation. Being here and kind of like ground zero where stuff is getting destroyed, they are kind of more loose in their formations. But as you kind of start seeing people, it's not as you saw when you came here last time. It's less people, but you are seeing people. He kind of leads you back through what looks at one point in time to maybe been like a merchant district. You see like a building with armor on it. As you go by it, the glass have been broken out, the doors torn off. Another one you go by another one, and a sign kind of loosely hanging over it says a magic emporium, but again, glass is broken out, door ripped off. Seem to have been either destroyed or looted, by the people, desperate to find anything to help them. But you make your way through like the less populated part of the city. It takes a little longer because you're going more a roundabout way, but you find yourself back over the wall in the castle. And eventually Kamid walks you up to the king, who's still kind of standing there just looking over the table. And as he hears you guys entering, he looks over at you, and Kamid will walk up and give his hand over the heart, salute, and bow again. And he just turns with a stoic look, just watches all of you as King Rashidi says, so you saw what their issue is.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a problem.
I have unfortunately not been able to go see it. I do not risk stepping out into the crowds with what waits us at the gates.
Blame you.
I do have something to admit to all of you, though. The mission I sent you on was somewhat of a test. There is somebody here who knows how to stop these things, but we kind of have two fronts now. I guess I just let you make up your minds. Would you give me a moment?
I'm in already here.
Yeah.
And I will be back. And he turns and he walks out with a graceful walk out one of the doors by the throne, and he disappears. And you guys are kind of there for a good 5 minutes or so. Kamid is standing there, his hands clasped behind his back, kind of at attention stance, just watching all you guys. He doesn't say anything. Is there anything you all want to say or do in those 5 minutes?
I'll just be petting my drink.
I will say that
Say
Caprice
something,
is
but it's
uncharacteristically quiet. Yeah.
I was gonna say I do want to say something, but it's not. It's more of a party type role play than somebody here with more time. So,
All right. Sorry, 1 second.
All good.
All right, so you're standing there these 5 minutes kind of just in silence, kind of looking around at the inside of this audience hall, the throne, the pictures, the tapestries. Eventually, you hear the soft footfalls of the king coming back, followed by what sounds like somebody else. You watch as he emerges out of this room and comes walking, or out the door and comes walking towards you. And you see a figure who is wearing kind of like brownish olive like clothing. He got like a green head wrap on, kind of short in stature, shorter than the king is. You also see a very heavily armored person kind of walking behind him with a confident gait, wearing plate mail armor, has an axe across his back, short blonde hair, a giant blonde mustache. And the king walks up and says, these two came to us about a month and a half ago. Apparently, this one, what was your name? And he kind of bows and he says, I am Mushin. Mushin here came to us telling us that he knew how to take care of the problem, but he needed a group that he could trust, and that is why we sent you to take care of the keep.
Val doesn't terribly really critical brand new information, new people. Can I roll insight to get a
Don't worry, we don't like Mushin either.
Nobody likes it.
I don't like Mushin.
Players
What
know
an
who
asshole.
Mushin is. Characters do not, but players know who Mushin is.
I mean, I don't, but that's okay. Either way,
You can roll an insight.
Okay. Reminder that the whole build is a minimum of an 8, just in case it rolls less than an 8. Yeah, so it should be 8 plus 11. So minimum of 19.
All right,
Like,
what
I check.
are you trying to discern from him exactly?
Like, does like the king trust him? Is like a big thing because like on one hand, like we have a very short list of like people that we can trust, and like at some point, like you just have to like go with the flow, right? Or like the city's gonna get overrun by a giant meat mountain. It'll be fine. Uh, but like, do they seem to like be confident at least like in themselves with like their body language or anything like that and how they say things? I'm sure that they're looking over us. Like, do they seem suspicious of us?
All right, so the king is a very tired, very worn out man. As you kind of look over his body language, he seems like he's a man of desperation, and whether or not he trusts these people, you're not really too sure. But you get this air about him that's like, what other choice does he have?
Mm-hmm.
The other two, as you kind of watch over them, don't seem to belay any nefarious intentions with their body movements or their quirks. And as you're kind of watching them, the person in the desert garb steps forward, Mushin, and he bows and says, "Greetings. My name is Mushin. Obviously, I am keeper of the rod. I was once part of a group seeking to stop this. Give me 1 second, guys."
Sure.
I'm sorry about that. But he says, I know how to stop this, but it requires us leaving this place to its fate, whatever that may be.
You said
And
you're
this,
keeper of the rod.
what was that?
I said, you said you're a keeper of the rod. What does that mean?
Well, the deity who is trying to end our world, devour it, Apep, was somebody that my god once fought, his Loomis. His Loomis created a rod to drive him back and banish him, but apparently he found a way out of his banishment. I was part of the people who, when the rod broke into 7 pieces, we divided the pieces among different tribes to protect them, and I was part of one of those.
What happened to the group that was you were tasked with?
He kind of has this very forlorn look on his face and says, well, some of them went off on their own whims, and the rest, well, this one here survived." And he kind of motions to the figure standing in armor. I do apologize. This is Philip. He can no longer speak. His tongue was cut out. But we are the only 2 surviving. The rest have died. Well, those who continued seeking the rod. I do not know what happened to the others. They seemed fickle individuals.
Were you stalked by a warlock? Just
No, that's perfect. You said there's 7 pieces. How many pieces do we have to go find?
Even what we're doing now.
We currently only have 3, and we do not have them with us. They are still with the champion. Well, in his tomb.
so we're
Cooper
supposed to
raises his hand.
Yes.
So, is the plan? I'm sorry if I am skipping ahead, but I do believe we are short on time. I'm guessing the plan is that we go raid the tomb, get the rest of the pieces of the rod, put it together, and stop that. And I point to in the direction of the mountain. and the outsider that's causing all of this?
King Rashidi kind of says, that is where the dilemma lays. We do not know if what that thing is can be killed, but you seem to have found a way to stop these things. Maybe you can also find a way to kill it. As I've been explained, going after the rod will take a time. And if you do that, then you will not be able to stop that beast. And Mushin speaks up and says, yes, the rod is spread across the lands. It took us a while to find those two pieces. We had the first from the start. They seem to guide whoever holds them to the next one, but it could take us months to find them.
And the city doesn't
Where's
have
the
months.
Tomb of the Champion?
It is to the east, southeast of here, in the jungles.
Motion, can I ask you a
What are we
question?
waiting for then?
You can ask me, yes?
Would you say that in these dark times you are a well-traveled man?
I spent most of my life living in a cave and then following some interesting individuals across parts of the world. I guess so.
Is there any other settlement of mortal people still standing that isn't here?
I've heard rumors. We were heading towards a gnomish city when our airship was attacked in the mountains to the north of the jungle. As I understand, with the gnomish companion we traveled with, they are usually well hidden. If we were to head back to the tomb of the champion and then head to the gnomish city, we might be able to find some way to travel there.
That's not really what I'm getting at. I'm just trying to wrap my head around if this city falls. What would we be saving?
Whoever's left.
Yeah, but if there isn't anything left.
There seems to be remote villages left. I have not been to any cities since this happened, though. I hear Torrid is still standing. Knowing King Yersild and his abilities, that does not surprise me.
Indeed. Well, we'll take what we can get, I guess. What's our first stop? How far away and how long?
What are the chances of succeeding if we get all 7?
I mean, if the chances are more than 0, I think it's what we have to do. Because the other odds are 0.
That's true, and frankly, I'd
Here's
rather
the
not
thing.
know the odds.
Here's the thing. Being on top of the wall and seeing the mass army that has already assembled at this place, it's only a matter of time before this city crumbles. There's either going to be a revolt inside the city, seeing how the people are already currently at a breaking point. I think the best bet is for the rot to go. These people here seem to know what's actually going on. I mean, this is the most information we've been given, even by our own standards. Like, they seem to know what's happening with the world versus just hearing rumors and stuff like that.
We tried to keep our temples where we held the rods secrets. The one that I was tasked to, unfortunately, fell under attack, so we do not know if the rest of them are safe. But if they are and still hidden away, it's just as simple as swinging by and picking them up. So getting the rod, probably high likelihood, but killing or stopping this, I only heard of Apep being stopped by the rod. His Loomis being of equal power couldn't even banish him away without the rod.
I'm assuming his Loomis is your god, right?
Yes, he was the one that the champion served.
Well, at least we will get into much philosophical debate on the way, hopefully.
There's also another problem.
Mm.
What are the chances that we're gonna find APEP's followers looking for this rod too? Assuming that I'm assuming it's a high chance regardless. Considering that APEP and his Loomis have fought together or fought against each other for an extended period of time.
No, they found our temple before this even started, knowing that APEP probably fears the rod. He's probably only stepped up his people in finding it. All I can offer as far as advice goes is that you could stay and help stop that thing from leveling the city, but unless we stop APEP, they will just keep coming. And I only know of one way to do that.
I kind of agree with him.
Are you able to control where we go? Or will another champion have to take place?
Any can hold the rod and be guided by it. It was just that this individual was given the task of stopping this from happening.
So he was chosen for this task then?
In a roundabout way, yes.
Well,
Turn to the group and say, well, what do you guys think? I'm all for going for the rod. To be honest with you, I don't think this city is going to last much longer, seeing the current situation inside and outside.
the balance must be restored. I know my vows say I should fight against outside forces that try to interlope on the material plane. While I would love to help the people of this city, there is a larger game at play here, and I don't know how much good I can do before getting slaughtered myself. So I suppose the rod is the only option.
It's
Yeah,
quite
if we had time, I think that like helping some of like the people in town would probably be an okay thing to do. Because the morale is going to be, I don't think if the morale stays the way it is, like it is out there, I'll like kind of like shrug as I'm saying this because the king's here, but I don't know that the city's going to last long enough for the thing to get here with the way that morale is, and I know that there's nothing that you guys can do about that at the moment. But
here's the other thing too, and I was meaning to talk about this more, but I'll bring it up now since it's already been thrown out there. If we help the citizens of this place, it's probably not going to be a good idea to do that for a few reasons. We've already seen Gibberish try to help just one person, and they're always going to request for more. It could make the situation worse than it already is.
It's a great sacrifice for the whole of our beings.
yeah, normally I think that it might be good to like try and send people out of the city because a lot of people will die like normally if that happens, but some of them might be able to make it out, but I don't think that they really have a way to get out of here, which is probably one of the things that's made tension so high. There
Well,
isn't anywhere to go.
Seeing this is more of the military side talking to me as well. If we do have people out of this city, the only way out that I know of is that secret tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
If the fiends find out that there's a secret tunnel here and invade the city through the secret tunnel, that giant mountain of a beast might reroute itself to a different city.
Yeah.
So in a sense, we're using this city to prolong time for another destruction.
There are no good choices.
King Rashidi will say, I do not wish to lose the city of my forefathers, but I do not think there unless you all stop that thing from coming, anything that can be done. But the choice is yours to make, and I agree with our friend here. That's even if that is stopped, there will just be something else to take its place.
I'll ask King Rashidi if he has a way to get out. If we're somehow able to, go from 0% chance to like a 1% chance to win, but that 1% pulls through, he could rebuild the city. I don't know if he'd want to do that or how easy that would be, but
I can, same way that you came in and left the first time, I could get out and get on a ship of my own and be gone. I do not feel like leaving my people, though.
And no offense, King, but without subjects on top of that, it's going to be hard to build another kingdom.
I agree.
I don't think anything that we're going to be doing for the next little bit is going to be easy, though.
But
So currently, our choices are do a Hail Mary and grab the rod and prevent any more destruction of this world, or try preventing the mountain that's currently traveling across the land to this one city.
I'll just kind of like ask, probably to like the guard captain is the most likely one to know off the top of his head. They know about how many people there are here in the city.
we usually have about 100,000, and there's probably 5 times what we usually have here.
500,000 souls.
It's a lot. The other thing, I guess, here, though, is like they're going to need food. They're going to need water. I don't think any of us have the means to like provide that food and water. So even if we do stay, if we don't have a way to meet that need, I don't think we get to save them, even if we try.
No. I think we've already all made up our minds on what we need to do. I think at this point we're just trying to rationalize it.
No, if you wish, I could call the last ride in. It will take him about the day to get here, and he can take you over towards the coasts of the jungle. I hear he turns to Mushin and says, I hear it is only 4 days travel from there, yes? And Mushin and Philip, they just nod their heads.
Well,
Looking at Philip, what does he look like?
He's a tall individual with blonde hair, giant blonde mustache. He looks a lot like the guy from Seven Deadly Sins, Pride. He got a suit of armor on. It's just a normal plate mail, nothing special about it. With an axe across his back. Those of you who played last campaign, this is the Philip that Friku played.
Yeah, I know. Anything else? Holy symbols or anything like that?
No, he never managed to get around to recollecting those.
Okay.
Well, I look to Shadeen look at Mushin and say, my services are yours. As I grab a fist to my chest and hold it there. And add a bow.
I will aid you in this crusade.
I guess Val will look at Tasha and be like, are we in?
Yeah, we're in.
All right.
I mean, don't want the world to end.
Leo would say something along the lines, as long as there's trophies, I can go ahead and go anywhere. I'll follow. Leo would just be like, I'm in, regardless, we gotta stop this.
All right. Mushin kind of directly you sheet in more than anybody else. This is the world that you are serving with this act, not me, but I appreciate it. He turns to King Rashidi. You say that you can have it here in a day? King Rashidi says, yes, I will notify him as soon as I can. He just kind of nods and says, and Philip and I will go back to our rooms. And he gives you all a look and says, any questions?
Just when to show up.
And I'll
Depends.
like gesture over towards Gibris and be like, and where we can rest for the evening because he's going to need to recharge.
That's true. I can still make food though, so we will have that for the night.
Well, depends when the ship gets here. As far as where to rest, I will leave that to the king. And he just kind of gives a bow, and him and Philip walk away. And King Rashidi says, you could stay here if you wish, or if you want, you could try going out of the wall. I would not advise taking the main gates, but I know you have a place here in the city that you could go stay at. But
I think it would be best to stay inside the castle. It is the most expedient,
Yeah.
least to risk.
That sounds good to me. There are plenty of rooms to pick from. Up on the second floor in the West Hall, you will find the guest rooms there. You mentioned you could get food.
Yes.
Is it possible? I've not had much to eat in the last 5 days.
There will be plenty. Take me to the dining room and we shall partake.
Yes. Kamid, get your men. And he goes and he gathers his men, and you all find your way heading to a dining room. It looks like an elegant small room meant to be more of a place where he sits down with nobles and ambassadors, stuff like that, and discusses things over food. But it is large enough to fit all of you as well, including Kamid's soldiers.
All right, let me find the thing. Okay. Well, shoot, it would appear I've already used a 3rd level spell slot today, so this is the last one. And I will cast Create Food and Water, which I forgot how to post this in chat.
It should just be click on the icon.
Yeah, just click on the icon. There you go.
All right, so you all once more watch as just seemingly out of nowhere, this flock of these ravens carrying like all this food and water just kind of come and fly in and drop it off, and then they fly up and they just before your eyes seem to vanish, but there is all this food and water sitting there. You guys partake in it and eat and drink, the king and his men as well. Even though the food isn't that great, they don't seem to care. It's the first time that they've had a decent amount of food in a long time.
I will also say that I have it mentally in my head that Gibris, for the human members of the party, has not actually taken off his helmet the entire time. Like in my head, like the beak part opens up so that he can eat while he's out. So I'm going to post the picture of what his face actually looks like.
The little hinge opens up.
Yeah, the hinge opens up, but he actually takes the entire thing off now because he's actually in a safe-ish place.
It
So
was a vision, like Gibberish was that Nazi assassin that was in Hellboy, Kurt, whatever his name was.
I don't have
You
that
guys know
image,
the one
but
though.
here, but
Oh.
no, that's what he looks like. Like under the fucking back.
See if I can find a picture of this guy.
You do notice that some of the troops kind of give you sideways glances as you lift that up and eat, and they can like see figures beneath, but don't say anything. Nobody really seems to care.
Yep, I'm feeding them. They damn well better
I
shot.
was gonna say you're not gonna bite the hand that feeds.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, you enjoy yourself something to eat. The king and his men here seem to be very hungry the way that they're eating their food, and they enjoy what they're eating. Eventually, it comes to an end. The king, you guys kind of have small talk. Kamid is a very silent and stoic person. He kind of eats a little bit and then just stands guard behind the king, just kind of watching over everything. He doesn't seem to like treat you guys like you're a threat, but he just seems like he's ready in case anything happens. But otherwise, you guys finish eating. He directs you where to go. You find yourself up higher up in the floors of the castle in these rooms, and some of them have a couple beds, some of them have one giant bed, but there's more than enough rooms for you guys to individually find a place to rest. And before that happens, we'll go ahead and take a break here. So see you guys about 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
New friends didn't shoot me when they saw my face. That's a victory.
You know, in hindsight, it might have been good if you just took your helmet off when people were like, "Heal me, please! Heal me, please!" I could have.
Not giving
It
your
Literally
soul.
looks at Val like, actually, like I think Val was trying humor, but Gavris is just hurt. Like that actually
No,
got to
I
him.
think that like Val would have probably been like, just like she's very, very like matter of fact. Like that could have been a way to get them off of you, I suppose. Anyway, I'm gonna go like find.
Why
some
do you
food.
think I keep the helmet on?
No, I don't know. It'll forever be a mystery, and I am gonna go get food. Be right back.
Rish, are you still here? I guess not. I'll be right back.
Da, 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 da.
Hey, Arvio,
Eh.
remember how in the last campaign we were trying to get your family away from like a hell on earth scenario, being in a city? I think you know where I'm going with this.
Hey man, here's what I
Oh,
got.
Pandora.
I'm not saying that Arvio is a well-adjusted character like Abriss over here. Uh,
You've chosen the path of Lex, guys. All I'm gonna say.
to be fair, I think my entire campaign was fucked. That shit was scuffed as hell. Let's be
Now
honest.
it's coming and biting us in the ass.
I feel like we're getting railroaded into the Lex campaign. Kidding.
I
Ain't
asked
the Lex-
Soltic. Yeah, I asked Soltic like for campaign 3, if this fails, what are we gonna do? Just straight up, just play the demon army? He said no.
Honestly, to me, this feels like campaign. For me, it's campaign 1.5. For you, it
Yeah.
might be 2. It's for you, it's 2.5, because this is just like,
I'm just picking up right after my character died. That's great.
yeah.
Well, technically, this is like our third.
Not one character. Both characters died.
Mine's probably dead now. Rotting away.
Grim? Yeah, I think I died with you.
The only real question is, did Arvio Shanghai his ass out of hell somehow?
Wait,
Probably not, but it'd be kind of fucking funny.
I do got a question though. What do you think? Like when we started this game, did you have any idea that we were basically going to be playing Lex's aftermath
Me?
effect?
I mean, I idea that's like, hey, I put the snake thing in front of you. Now you guys have to railroad deal with it, and it's like, well, shit.
Well,
Like, just going through the lore and stuff, I knew immediately this is what the case was.
yeah,
But you were saying, Drake.
that's basically when he was like, "Oh, we're gonna go off of this." I'm like, "Oh, we're going that way now." Okay.
Yep.
To be honest, though, this group is way better than that last one. Way more chemistry. Way less people dying on the reg.
I mean, we're only in session 4 or 5.
But you know what we
Ending of
haven't
session
done?
5.
Gone to hell. So it's an
Yeah,
improvement.
that's because we're currently living it right now.
I
Hey,
also
man.
have for like
Into us.
3 or 4 minutes, so.
Hey man, look, I'm saying we need to look at the positives. We got a good team dynamic. Didn't get teleported to hell. Okay, sure, hell came to us, but
You did heal a baby. I suppose that's positive.
look, you weren't here for that last campaign. It really was
Let's
kind of a
just-
shit
let's just-
show.
Yeah. Let's just say that at least session 1 or session 01, however you want to put it, none of us turned into a vegetable.
Hey.
Actually, that was me. I turned into a vegetable.
I'm talking about this in this game, so it's a plus right off the bat.
So we agree that this is a much better start, all things considered.
Speaking of vegetables, it's been 10 minutes. Everybody ready to go?
That is
If
a
you guys
clean
want to, you
transition.
can. I'm making some pasta, so I've got about another like 8 minutes on that. But if there's not like any like RP or anything that like anybody wants like Val involved in, you guys are more than welcome to continue. I can catch up in a minute.
Well, jumping into more RPs, what we're going to do is you guys found yourselves up in the guest rooms. You can pick guest rooms right next to each other if you all want to share a room with several beds, however you want to do it. But you guys are in the guest rooms. What do you all wish to do?
I'll have my own room with my Drake.
I think Tal and Leo would probably share a room, regardless if it's separate beds or not.
Looks over at the remaining party members. Yeah, I'll choose this one over here.
I'm with Val.
Yep.
Okay.
But for RP wise, I would probably go up to Gabris at one point and say that, would you want to leave your feather here? Maybe it might do some sort of protection. I don't know.
Maybe. We must keep faith in these times, no?
I'm not much of a holy man myself, but sure.
Hmm. I will admit that despite everything that we have faced so far, that crowd is what shook me the most. And it feels kind of foolish considering what we fight.
Well, there was a story that I heard about a man being on an island, and it was infested with rats. And the only way for this man to get rid of his problem is that he dug a hole so deep enough where the rats couldn't basically get out of it. And he placed a piece of meat there. Over the course of days, the rats ate the meat, but as more and more piled into this hole, it basically it caused to where the point where rats were starving, and resulting that they had to eat themselves until there was just pretty much 2 rats left or none at all. I'm trying to get at is that this is what this city's going into right now. People are going to start fighting against each other and have different conflicts over food, for an example, or over healing, or whatever the case was. So, not much you can really do about that.
No. No, there isn't. I've just seen it happen too many times before. Anyway, he's going to find a nice place to put the feather, probably by like a windowsill. Like maybe in like a dead plant, so it like comes, it's like perched up, kind of, in clear view of the sky.
No, there is a balcony that overlooks the city with tons of dead plants sitting on it.
I'm actually going to. All right, then I'm going to go there, and Gabris is just going to start praying for the people of this city, hoping that they can find a way out, that at least some of them can survive, and that Ynir can guide them to a safe place until all of this blows over. And then I place the feather, and I kind of, put it in one of the pots, and I kind of like push it in, like the pointy bit, like I kind of push it in there so it won't just fly away.
All right. As you step out there and for a moment you take in the city, you see the gate ahead and you can see the people out side of it. You're far enough away that they just look like a mixing mass. You can't tell individuals. You can't even hear them yelling, but you can see past that the buildings and the smoke rising in the distance on the other side of the city. You kind of gaze up and just look at the overcast of clouds that have been constant for the last few months, and just this dusk-light state of the sun or the light, whatever it is, that just never seems to end. And you pray and leave your feather. Anything else you wish to do?
I don't think Abyss is in the mood for much, so I think he is just going to retire to his room, meditate the best he can, and eventually turn in knowing that he needs the rest.
All right. I guess, Leo, you already told us what you were going to do. Is there anything else you do after your little talk with Gibberish?
No, probably just clean my armor and sharpen my sword and go to bed.
All right. Is Sheeden just hanging out, stroking his Drake?
Yeah, playing
His
around
lizard,
with
you
him
want
and
to say?
basically just working out in the room, lightly, not too heavy.
Doing arms today.
Apparently, I'm doing my Drake, but yeah.
All right. Well, is Natasha and Val doing anything?
I am going to use one of my features of my cleric class, and I was going to start praying.
All right. What do you pray for?
I pray that the mountain gets completely destroyed.
All right. Is that the one where you roll dice?
If I roll a 10 or less, nope, 17.
Well, that was so close, though.
If you roll, if I roll less than my level or less,
It happens, yeah.
Prayer becomes answered. Exactly how it answers.
Yep, just 7 off. Almost back. Okay, so you pray, and I guess everybody kind of just hangs out. Eventually, you find yourselves heading off to bed. Gabrish,
Yeah.
as you lay sleeping, you just kind of get this dream. Not really even sure if it's a vision. You just wake up in your bed and you kind of like throw your feet over the side. You stand up and you walk out and you overlook the city, and you just see this giant serpent just sitting out there looking over the city with the venom dripping from its fangs onto the city. And as each one falls, it just seems to destroy and deteriorate everything in it. And then you kind of come back and you kneel down and you pray, and you look up and just see a raven sitting there looking at you, and then it fades away. It's the only thing you can remember about your dream. Natasha, you also, as you kind of lay there and dream the night away, in your dream, you get this picture of this mountain that kind of just shifting and devouring and destroying everything in its wake. And then you also get the picture of the serpent like being, and you watch as its head is smashed with the rod of a staff. And that's kind of all you remember from your dream. And Val, I don't know if you're back. We'll take that as a no. Well, Val has pains and sufferings in her chest that we'll talk about when she gets back. But other than that, the rest of you kind of have nightmares about the things you see, the dead bodies you stepped over in the streets as you walk through, the people turning on you, throwing food and shoes. Well, not food, there is no food, but throwing shoes and rocks and other stuff at you. You just kind of haunts you, the things you saw. I mean, some of you are well versed in killing, but watching people suffer like this is a different beast, definitely. But morning comes and you all awaken, find yourselves in your rooms, whatever you wish to do now. You were told it would take a day for the ship to get here, so you guys basically have a whole day ahead of you.
Natasha won't do much.
think Tao and Leo would probably get up a little early and probably go find a small like training area or something like that and do some sparring. That's about it.
Actually, legitimately, I think Gabris would ask Tao if. Here's the question: Gabris and Tao know each other pretty well, like, and I feel like Gabris has probably met the family. Is Tao's family in the city?
I have no clue.
No.
Good. Okay. Cool. Good. Never mind then. We can belay that.
You know, he came here looking to help the problem, save his family that he left somewhere else.
Okay. Good. That's been my main concern in like the back of my mind ever since like the city's getting destroyed, and then my mind is like, oh fuck, he's not here.
We're not having another RVO campaign, RVO.
That was my worry. That was my legit worry.
I'm officially back too. Sorry that took so long, but
You guys went to sleep. As you were sleeping, Val, your chest throbbed in pain as you had nightmares of fiends, like just killing and eating people.
yeah. Big yikes. Any like particularly shadowy ones?
In the backgrounds, there were like shifting shadows.
Ooh, spooky. As long as her scar doesn't get any bigger, like she'll probably be like mostly okay the next day. But
You give me investigation as you're kind of looking at it. It does seem to be maybe a centimeter or two bigger. Slow growth, but it did seem like it grew.
all right. Well, she'll probably be a little bit anxious in the morning then.
The rest of you, or everybody else, if you want, you can take your long rest.
Yeah.
Ooh, we have a button for that
Already
now, right?
done.
Yeah, it's under your hit dice. Should say L rest and R rest, or
I
S
say
rest.
yes.
Are we spending hit dice to regain, or are you guys just regaining those hit points?
You're just regaining them from a long rest.
Okay, cool. I do like those buttons. They're very nice.
But yeah, I think Leo and Tao will probably do some morning sparring or something like that. Now that we have some time.
All right. I mean, it's a whole day, so is there ever a point in time you guys come together, discuss anything? You go talk to the king, see if you can track down Mushin, anything?
No, Sheedon keeps to himself.
Honestly, kind of same.
I think we're all
We
doing
will
some
be-
R&R right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like after that shit, like Gabris is just reading his holy book, kind of centering himself after everything that's happened. He'll be out on the balcony.
I was literally about to say, I think that Val's gonna just like sulk on the balcony for a bit and watch.
Like you walk out, you guys just make eye contact, and he just kind of scoots over.
All right. Well, nothing wrong with that. Just want to make sure the whole day was covered. So you guys go throughout your days taking care of individual business. Eventually, as quote unquote night would be approaching, the king comes up and he kind of goes from door to door trying to find you guys. And he says that the last ride is here and they are down below awaiting.
Okay. I put back on my helmet. Let's go. I'm on with the rest of my armor because I probably didn't wear that shit to bed. So
All right, you guys are led down once more into the king's audience hall, and as you come into the room this time, you see the table there with Kimid standing at it. You also see the very familiar Captain Safu standing there, and his deckhands kind of standing behind him. Seems to be about 8 of them, and you are guided out into the middle, and to the middle of the group near the table, and he's well, they are here. When would you all like to go?
I don't think we have much time to waste.
We should go now.
We have no time to waste.
Indeed. I will go grab Mushin then. Kamid would like to talk to you, and he turns and he leaves out a door opposite of the way you guys came into, and Kamid will step up and he'll put his hand over his chest, over his heart, and he gives a bow to you guys, and you notice that he is wearing plain armor. It's plate armor, but it looks like what all his soldiers are wearing, and he kind of motions, and you guys see his armor sitting on the table, and he says, I would like for you to take this if it can help. May it could be a way I can contribute.
What kind of armor is this?
It's plate armor. Hold on. I thought I had it with me. I'll be right back to grab my notes for it.
Yeah, I want to know if there's anything special about it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody else can benefit from it, go for it, because I'm a +3 on plate armor right now.
I do not have. I am in full plate. It may not be plus anything,
Oh,
but
+2. Sorry.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
just
unless it's
like
magical.
yeah. But these are the ceremonial clothes of his religion. I don't think Abris is giving that up.
Sorry, I almost slipped and broke my neck, killed myself. Are you asking him if there's anything special about it?
Yes.
Because looking at it, it's just the white armor with the gold trim that he wears in that picture that I showed you.
Sure, I'll ask. Is there anything
Yes, I am
special
asking
about it?
him
Oh, go ahead.
if there's anything
You
special
ask.
about it.
Ooh.
Yes, it seems to be useful in causing spells to have more trouble touching you and your companions. Those who are within 10 feet around you benefit from spells having trouble hitting you. In a mechanical sense, when you wear the plate armor, you have a 10-foot aura around you, and you and all friendly creatures in that aura have advantages on saving throws against spells and other magical effects.
So it's another aura.
I rubbed my hand across it and said I would love this armor.
It's he kind of looks you over, being that you are two totally different builds of body size, and he says it should fit you. The magical properties in it will cause it to shrink to your size.
I'm familiar with magical gear.
But if it will help you, I'm glad to at least have somewhat of a hand in saving our world.
I look around at everybody. Anybody object to me taking this?
Honestly, I was going to hope that you were going to grab it.
Nope, don't need it.
I was gonna say Val can't use it, so
You're
It's all
good.
yours.
Alrighty. An upgrade.
Also,
My armor.
also, Captain, bring back in your men. I will provide them one last meal before we go.
Are you dragging this on to my sheet, sir?
I will. I have to create it. It's actually a homebrew I looked up.
Oh, is that why it says new equipment on my equipment thing?
Yep.
You must be doing that right now.
I can send you a picture if you want to add it, or I can add it to you later. But when you say that to the captain, he says, well, it would take us a while to go through the sewers and get the rest, but the ones who are here would enjoy the food.
Good. And and the ravens come back down and give them enough water and food. Hopefully that you can make that last. The food will be gone in a day, but the water will remain.
Well, I do not know if we can make the food last, but he looks over the water.
Oh, you won't. Again, 24 hours.
Yes, but the water, I think, would last us a while.
Good.
So after that kind of happens, you guys are again left 5 minutes. That eats into a little bit of it, but then King comes back, Mushin and Philip behind him. They have their bags over their shoulders. And Mushin walks up and, I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All right. Let's go save the world, I guess.
All right, says Captain Safu. Back through the sewers, I guess. And yeah, you guys gather your stuff. Already had your stuff, but you make your way outside of the audience hall, outside of the castle.
Before we leave,
Yeah, go ahead.
I go to as their group's walking away. I just go to the king and Kamid and say, "Thank you. I know it's hard." And then I shake their hands.
Yeah, they will, in return, shake your hands, and the king will say, "Whatever is out there, I hope it guides you in this. It seems you are this world's last hope." And he just gives a bow, and Kamid shakes your hand, but he is silent and stoic as ever.
And then I'll just bow and step away, follow the group,
all right.
or catch up to the group.
Well, you guys are led back across to the little gate you came through, descending the stairs down into the sewers. And again, you spend quite a while working your way. A little more familiar this time because it was just only the other day you were through here. Some of it looks familiar. Some of it, even though you passed through here, you're kind of like, was this the way we came? Not really sure. But the ship captain, Safu, he seems pretty confident as he leads you out to the cave system, and you follow the tunnel down, and you come out to where there was that ledge with the little spikes sticking out of it, and you see a boat tied to it, and then you can see out in the distance the ship just sitting out there. And boat's big enough for all of you to fit into it, but he does tell you it's going to take a while, so you might want to organize yourselves to be pretty comfortable. But you all get in and you start rowing out, and indeed, because the ship's parked so far away, it takes you a bit to get there. But then the men on the ship throw down their ropes and they pull the boat up and you guys up, and you find yourselves once more on the last ride. And Safu turns around and says, "Oh, same rooms as before, down below. It should take us a day or two to get to the shoreline. We'll drop you off there. Otherwise, we'll get to our business if there's nothing you wish to say."
Yeah, there's nothing. But player question. Looking down at this rowboat, did it have a hole at one point?
It did not.
Okay, so it's not the second one.
No, this is a much larger boat, or the little rowboat you guys came in on, or it's larger than the boat you were on when you landed. That one was a pretty small rowboat.
That one was designed for speed.
Yep. This one's a big, wide, bulky rowboat. Seems to be used to carry stuff from ship to shore, either large quantities of goods like chests and barrels and stuff like that, or people. But you guys kind of make your way back to your familiar hay on the floor, bedding on top of it. If you wish to throw your, rolls on top of that, you can. Otherwise, the captain starts yelling out orders. Sails go up, ropes are pulled tight and tied around things. The anchor is pulled up, and the ship slowly starts moving, creaking, and shifting as it does so.
Underway.
It will take you guys a couple days to travel. So, again, once more, is there anything you want to do during these days?
I'll probably go up to Mushin, since Philip can't talk, and ask him, so are you going to be traveling with us the whole way, or what's the plan with what's going on?
I figured I would just take you to the rod. But, unless you wish us to go, there's not really much for me to do.
It might be, since you know these. You said the rods were in the temples, right?
Yes.
Would you happen to know any of the layouts of the temples?
No, they were taken far. We barely even talked to each other.
Okay. Well, if you wish to travel with us, you're more than welcome to. After when you take us to the first rod or the last known location of it.
I will think about it. Talk to Philip.
Well, there's not much else left in this world. Might as well tag along.
I'm
It's either going to
afraid.
end or we're going to win.
I'm afraid I cannot be much help. And he kind of like holds up his arms and moves them so the sleeves fall down. And you see that he has no hands.
How'd that happen?
Could complicate things a bit. I'm gonna like elbow Tasha for just like immediately being like, why are you like scarred, right?
When I was traveling with the other group, they seemed to have upset some devils. They apparently took off the half of the group, the ones the devils were chasing, and lost them. They found the ship that we were flying on, knocked it out of the sky. Philip was the only one to really survive. I was almost dead, and he healed me. But then the devils found us, took us, and tortured us. They removed his tongue for trying to be a smooth talker, and my hands for trying to fight them.
I'm sorry
But
to hear that.
it seems we paid the sins of somebody else, but it's neither here nor there. We will talk about it and see. And he kind of like moves his arms and shakes his sleeves so they fall back over. And he holds himself in a way that be hard to tell whether or not he has hands. And as you think about it, when you first met him and talked to him, he never really gestured with his hands. He didn't do anything with them. And you figure kind of he's learned how to hide it. And you just see Philip as you guys are kind of having this conversation. He's just standing back there nodding. But otherwise, they turn and head down to where they were told to go.
At some point when like we don't have anybody but like the immediate party that knows that Val is an Asmar, she'll probably she can usually like hide how she feels pretty well because rogue life, right? But at some point probably still like wants to at least like say thanks for not like outing what she is to the king, because that kind of word is going to travel fast and make that city fall a whole lot faster if the fiends knew that somebody like her was there.
Of course. I at least told you myself I wasn't going to tell anybody. I planned on keeping my word.
Everybody has their own secrets to hide. I figure it's a good reason that you're hiding it, so it's not my place to talk.
She'll probably just be like, kind of shrug and be like, still.
You're welcome.
Does anybody, as you guys travel over the couple days, keep watch? Anything like that?
Yeah, I think Leo would probably keep watch a few days.
All right. You can go ahead and give me perception checks for each day then.
Yeah, I'll help him keep watch, like an alternating route in between like the praying, the studying of the book, training, and meditation. Gonna get in some watch time as well.
All right. Go ahead and roll 2 perceptions as well.
Cool. That's yeet. Hell yeah. And another less good. But I had a 20.
Indeed, you did. Well, you know the seas, the waters, the air, not to be a safe place anymore. Not that they were much to begin with in this world, but even now with the fiends and their armies moving around, you guys try to help keep watch as the ship travels for these 2 days. Seemingly nothing happens, at least as far as all of you noticed the two of you noticed during your different watches. Nothing attacks, nothing in the distance. You don't see anything in the air. Eventually, kind of coming halfway into the second day, you can see the shore in the distance. And as you grow closer, eventually comes point where they stop the ship and they anchor it down. And Safu, he will gather all of you up and says, "Well, we are here. All of you are going ashore, yes?"
Yes.
Val's just gonna nod.
All right. Couple minutes.
Our bag.
Get the men, get a ship ready or a boat. Have one of them take you in. Turns around and he barks to one of them, like start getting ready, and then he points out another one, and you're gonna row them in, drop them off, come back. A couple minutes pass by as they all start kicking the action, getting this boat ready for you guys. It's again one of these bigger boats that can hold all of you. Now that you have 2 more people, the other one barely fit you guys as is.
Mm-hmm.
But you jump into it, lowers down into the water, and you start rowing towards the shore.
Quick question, probably before we actually get into the boat. Is the ship gonna wait on us?
You ask him that, and he says, I was just asked to drop you off here.
Okay.
Do you plan on coming back?
I'll kind of look at the party and be like, I guess we'd probably ask, probably Mushin, like, are we going to be traveling beyond this, or?
I think Mushin said something about the rod points the direction, so
Probably
I
won't
think
be coming
it would
back
be
then.
pointing back to the water.
Okay.
So probably not. Before Leo starts stepping down, he's gonna go over to the captain and shake his hand and say thank you. And if we meet up again, I'll buy you a drink.
Before that conversation, as you ask Mushin that, Val, he will say, we could come back. Leo, correct? He kind of looks at you, Leo. As Leo pointed out, we have no idea where the rod will guide us. It's more of a tugging feeling in a direction. But if you want it, once we get there, we could head north into the mountains and see if the Numish city still stood and see if they had a airship we could borrow.
How far do we expect from the shore to the temple?
It's about 4 days travel and about a week there. From there towards the Numish city, as our companion had told us.
Well, maybe we will get lucky and find a cart again.
What? Why do we need a cardigan?
Oh no, cart again.
Sorry, Gabrice, your face shielded. Muffles your
Yes,
voice.
my face, also my voice. Got it.
He said his face shield. Face shield.
It's a helmet. What?
Mushin kind of chuckles, and you see Philip also kind of smile as well. Figure these are probably guys who haven't done either of those in a long time. And he says, "Jungle's very dense place. Carts usually cannot find ground in them."
Oh, true. Wish I could summon a griffin. Anyway. Well, it's the thought that counts, I suppose.
How long does this griffin last?
Oh, I can't do that quite just yet. I have a long way to go before I can summon that kind of steed. For right now, we have a warhorse.
Okay, I was just going to suggest you could try to find the Numish city on your own and get an airship, but I guess if that time comes, let us know.
Yes, well, on the sunny side up, if you ever feel tired of walking, we will at least have a horse on command.
He just gives you a nod. At this point, Leo, you go over and you say that to the captain, and he chuckles and says, "I would be happy to drink something that did not taste like aspartame if we ever get the chance."
I just nod, and then I'll step away and start heading into the boat.
All right. So you guys at this point got in the boat, rowed over there, dropped off,
We're in
and
a boat, yo.
the lone figure turns it around. He starts rowing back towards the ship. You now find yourselves on the shore, and Mushin says, "We could head out now if you wish, or if you want, we could set up camp here. The beaches are a little more safer than the jungle, but it is getting near time either way to camp, whichever you wish to do."
I think camping probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Caution would serve us well.
All right, then let's find ourselves a shelter of some kind, and him and Philip kind of just start like walking down the beach. You guys, unless you tell me otherwise, follow suit. Eventually, he finds like a little like cropping cliffside rocks and stuff, and it's not so much a cave, but a little cove kind of tucked back into it that you guys go into, and he suggests setting up here for the night, so you guys, or for the time, and you guys set up your stuff and get ready to camp out.
During the night, Leo's go over to Mushin and say, you said airship. Do you guys happen to know how to drive one?
Well, if we get to the Gnomish city and it's still standing, we could see if one of them could take us. I do not see why they would hesitate with everything going on.
And that was just a concern I had. Thank you. Just go about my business.
Question for Sodic, because I just realized that I don't think I ever asked this. Is it alright if Val has a sketchbook that she just doodles in? Because it's a thing that I usually do with my characters that I completely forgot about this time.
Sure.
Okay. I'm sure that with all the burning and raising of cities, that there's plenty of charcoal around.
That's not wrong.
I think Leo has a lot of it, so.
Yeah, I have quite a bit of charcoal.
Oh, yeah.
That's not wrong. Kind of fucked up, but not wrong.
Technically correct is the best kind of correct. Fight me.
I will. Anyway.
No, she probably would have spent the ride across the ocean or across the water in the crow's nest, just doodling various things on the ship then, so.
Jesus, I just remembered something.
Yeah.
So I gave the king the paper of the magical symbols or whatever the case was for this portal. Player knowledge. If I took that to the Gnomish city, I bet you money they could have figured out what it was.
I really hope you have good memory. Your character has good memory.
That's what I'm making with a +1 to history.
Well, before we get there, you guys find yourselves camping here on the beach for the night.
Oh, it's a +5.
Mushin says that he could stand watch. Not good, if anything, tax, but he could alert you. Also, Philip could stand watch if you all wish for a portion of the night, but reverse effect. He can attack things, but would be very poor at alerting you guys.
You can't yell without a tongue? I didn't know that. That'll do. That'll wake me up.
He's kind of gone mute since the incident happened. Doesn't make any sounds.
I apologize for being insensitive then. Okay, but I will also help take watch even though my vision is shit.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take watch, and I think Tal will take watch with Philip.
I think I've been taking third watch, so that way Val's had a rest and then is ready to go.
I'll take last.
All right. Val third, Raven Knight last. Which one you gonna do, Leo?
Leo would do first, and then Tal would do second, if Philip wants to join that.
Alright.
I would take watch when Val is.
All right. Well, first up, go ahead and roll your perception dice.
I didn't catch when Val was doing it.
I'm third watch. I've also got my
Okay.
microphone muted for a minute because I'm typing a whole lot and my keyboard's loud.
Your
That was
keyboard
for
is
first.
abnormally
and
loud.
For second. There you
Alrighty. First watch goes by uneventful. You're standing here at the cliff, a few hundred feet up. It's the start of the jungle, and as it goes in away from, not the cliff, you're at the beach. But as the jungle goes away from the beach, it gets denser and denser. You can't see it though where you're at, but you can hear it. You're used to there being silence everywhere you go. Places you've been just seems to be no animal life, but here you can hear the distant sounds of animals making noise, but nothing seems to otherwise happen. And then you go get Tao and Philip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for them, it's uneventful. Tao and both of them rolled pretty low, but nothing seems to happen. And then who does Tao go and wake up?
It'd be me, I guess, if anything.
No, I think somebody chose third, which was
Val.
and
Yeah,
Natasha.
me and
Val
Tasha.
and me.
Someone didn't. Okay.
I will assist her on her roll.
All right, then roll with advantage. Perception, Val.
Let's find out here. 16.
All right, so you're taking watch, and you guys or gals are standing there. Are you talking, doing anything?
Yeah, I don't really know. I figure that like both of them are probably like just kind of content with silence a lot of the time, unless there's something like on one of
Yeah.
their minds.
That's pretty much.
Okay. Well, as you are hanging out and kind of just keeping watch, the cliff behind you is about 25-ish feet up. And you at first don't notice anything, Val, but then Natasha, you kind of watch as a rock rolls past you and you tap Val on the shoulder and you mentioned it and you both turn up and look, and Val, you notice that something's looking over the cliff at you guys. Kind of whitish fur in appearance, and you just see like from the nose up like this furless face just looking at you guys, and then it pulls back as soon as you make eye contact with it, and you watch as a bunch of more rocks roll off.
Would we have like the ability to like maybe gauge the creature's size based on like the head that we saw? Because like leopards are definitely like smaller creatures than tigers, right?
Yeah. You kind of looking over before it like pulled away. It seemed to be a decently good size creature, and the face, the head of it, from what you could see, was more humanoid than it was like a leopard or a dog or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. So like vaguely, like probably not huge then, maybe large or maybe small.
Probably large, maybe huge, definitely bigger than a medium-sized creature.
Okay. I don't think that Val probably even has like a chance of knowing what that was.
I mean, you're level 10. You guys traveled a long ways. You can give me a history check, see if you recall anything.
Let's see here. All right, I guess I'll take it.
As you kind of sit there and you're watching the last of the rocks tumble down towards the camp, towards the ground, you're racking your brain trying to figure out if you've ever heard of anything like this. And you know there's creatures out there, orangutans, gorillas, chimpanzees, stuff like that, that kind of have humanoid-like appearances. This thing seemed larger than those, though. I mean, you know gorillas to be a pretty big creature, but like this thing would have been bigger than that.
That's something like vaguely, and approximately, like, that'd be the closest thing that I would have to like describe it.
Yeah, monkey, ape-like in feature.
Okay. I'll try and like flip over to a new page of like my sketchbook real quick and like make a note of what I saw and like kind of what it looked like if I can. Just because that's a little bit easier than being like it was than like describing it with words, right?
All right.
If it didn't like seem to bother us though, then I'll ask Tasha if like she thinks that we should like be particularly alarmed.
Just keep an eye out.
Okay.
Okay. Well, you guys, as you finish the rest of your watch, nothing else seems to happen, but it just seems something strange in the air. You can't exactly put your finger on it. You just keep scanning, looking at the cliffside, looking at the beach, and you don't really think you see this thing again or any other creatures for that matter. And then you kind of come to the point where you're getting tired again and realize you need to go get the next person. Who do you go and wake up?
I think that was going to be. I almost said Krellin. I don't know why. It's fine. I think it was Gibris that was going to take the last watch.
That is correct.
And I would mention to him about the orangutan-like creature.
Mm-hmm. And if I've
No.
had a long rest at this point, then I'll probably just stay up.
Oh, neat. I've never punched a gorilla before.
Are you an elf? No, you're Asmar. No, you would not have had a long rest at this point.
Okay.
You basically interrupted the keep watch, but it doesn't like take away from it.
I follow. Okay. In that case, no, then I'll finish my long rest.
All right. Well, go ahead, Gabrish, and roll me a perception.
I am now on watch for the gorilla. Honestly, this tracks with my prior performance.
As you stand there trying to watch, a little less effective wearing this helmet of yours, but trying to take in the area. You don't see anything. You do hear, the water kind of washing up onto the beach that you guys are on. You're not too far from the water. You have noticed like the water is receded a bit, like it naturally does. So obviously there is still some kind of tidal system going on in the world. Not everything's gone to pot, but otherwise you just hear distant animals in the jungle. The most life you've heard on this outside of being inside of a city on this planet for a while. But as you go through your watch, eventually it comes a point where you have all taken a long rest and you start to you start to wake up from your slumbers, and you find Mushin and Philip are getting up too. And Mushin says, "Whenever you're all ready, we can set out."
But breakfast is the most important meal of the day. One moment. Food and eat up and drink if need be.
I'll show the two NPCs that we've got with us the sketch that I did and ask if either of them have seen a creature like this before.
Mushin, he kind of looks it over. Philip just shrugs. But Mushin, I do believe when we came out of this way before, we saw several creatures that look like that. I do not know what they are called. I grew up in a temple in the desert, but I mean, there was ones like that were big, ones like that were small.
Okay. Well, it didn't attack us. It just wanted to come and take a look at us, I guess. But
Question, DM, did Tao make his money out of like a gladiator arena or anything like that?
Yes.
Could he make a history check to see if he's ever fought against a creature like this?
Actually, he comes from the jungle. I mean, are you, Val, showing that to everybody or just Mushin?
I mean, I'd show it to everybody. I guess I don't really know where like everybody's like from and stuff like that. So.
Well, if you show it to Tal, I mean, he would know the creatures of the jungle. This is actually where he comes from, so he knows that there are like gorillas and monkeys and orangutans. He also speaks of this very large four-armed gorilla-like creature that they call a gorillon, that are usually very vicious and dangerous, but he's pretty sure that's not what you saw because they generally attack people.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
I'm certain we will find out in time, considering our luck.
No doubt about that. Well, I guess if we've eaten, we'll gather things up. Shall we then?
It's probably at that point that I realize that Mushin doesn't have fucking hands. As he tries to eat them.
You actually notice that Philip helps him out.
Yeah.
Okay.
My guess is that they probably.
Yeah, they probably have a system worked out, but Griffiths was about to feel like an asshole again by accident.
But do you all gather yourselves up, kind of just pinged on the map where you are, general location. But you guys,
I can't see anything. For me, it's entirely.
Oh,
blank.
hang on, I see it. It's right here. Ish.
Hey, thanks. Super helpful.
I think
Right
he's in the
here.
loading screen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did say I didn't have any tokens that I owned on it when we switched over.
Yeah, we're on the other, the other screen. The one that we saw.
Yeah, there's no
In
map or
post.
anything here. It's the table screen that you have us on.
Yes, but the map's up top.
Oh, I
yes,
didn't even know that.
there's a
Mine's just all
map
black.
on the table, like
Oh.
Rylan said.
Right
Yeah, mine's
here.
just all black.
Nobody has tokens on here, so I'm not sure. It never loaded in for you last time either.
On the last one, it like was stuck on the loading bar. This one has finished the loading bar, and like I can see everybody's mouse is moving around.
Gotcha. Well, you guys continue. It's not too important. I was just trying to give you guys an idea. But you continue on traveling for the day. How do you travel? Who's doing what? Like marching order, stuff like that?
I think since Tao would probably is from the jungle, he would probably take point. And then Leo would probably be either standing next to him or shortly right behind him.
Natasha's in the middle of the pack.
Same with Caprice. He's in the middle because aura.
I'm in the back.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the NPCs are front as well, since they note the location. Or
And I'll
somewhere around
be
it?
like behind Gibris and Tasha.
Both Gibris and Tasha are clanking through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Probably
jungle.
pretty
Clank,
uncomfortable
clank,
too.
clank.
Oh, Leo's doing the same thing.
You get used to it, honestly.
And so is Philip. The NPCs actually, they take middle of the group.
Oh, he's not sporting his bare chest.
Nope.
The shirtless one.
Allow it. Yeah, it was just his avatar. He always wore plate. Well, until you guys got it taken away in hell. But they travel in the middle, allowing you guys to take front and back. He's actually more up towards the front, kind of guiding Tao because he knows where the tomb is, but he allowing them to go first for protection. But you guys continue onwards. How are you helping aid in the travel? You guys watching out for animals, trying to watch the ground for any like dangerous quicksand or sinkholes or anything like that?
I'll watch for animals. I don't know if
Step away from
Gabris
that.
knows what quicksand is.
I'll watch for like anything that's any animals that are gonna try to flank us from behind, or any
well,
things.
If you're watching for dangers as far as like animals or beings or anything that would be swooping in to attack you, you can go ahead and roll perception. If you're watching for things like vines or pitfalls or holes in the ground or something like that, you can give me nature checks. Which I think Tal, especially since he's leading, he knows the jungle, would probably make a nature check if you want to roll that for him.
Oh, with his -1 modifier? Sure.
He's special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Leo would help out with like carrying stuff and stuff like that, kind of using his strength to the best of him.
Well, there is the water. If Gabrish summoned the food and water, then you still got that water. I don't know if you want to carry it with you.
Screw it, I'll carry it.
All right.
I'll carry more with him if he's going to be carrying my water. So, I'll carry a jug as well, I guess.
Okay, so you guys are making your way through. Tao's kind of like pointing out stuff as you go through, telling you avoid those vines over there because they'll strangle you. Avoid this part of the ground here because it will, you can fall down. Stuff under it could be like a false top with leaves and stuff over a hole. Yeah, he kind of knows what he's doing. He's leading you through as Mushin. It's kind of with a compass and a map out, guiding you in the direction that he knows the tomb is. You travel for a while. You stop and you eat. As you're kind of sitting there eating, you notice Shiden kind of like way back the way you came. As you kind of like keep and watch, you look back and you swear you just see like something kind of standing there swaying side to side. And as you kind of look at it, you watch as it just turns and walks off behind some trees. It looks very humanoid in appearance and very tall.
I'll warn the group that I just see some humanoid figure in the distance following us.
Oh, shit.
And would forest be the jungle would jungle be a forest or no?
No.
Because it's just there isn't no favorite terrain. There isn't no terrain for that I can pick of. So that's what I was asking.
No. Jungle is the terrain. That is one of the things on the favorite terrain.
Yeah, it just
list.
doesn't say it on the list.
You picked up forest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say you would be forest and not jungle anyways, because where Dragonborn come from,
Yeah.
all they have there's forest.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. That's fine. Just asking.
But you guys, you hear she didn't pick this or point this out. Not much interested. Pick up and continue onwards.
Suppose so. We keep an eye out, but until they attack, we're focusing on moving.
looks like they're going to be a threat, then we'll take care of it. But at the moment, I don't see any point.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys continue on. Eventually, you get to the point as you're walking through this jungle. It's definitely gotten louder. The animals, they seem to be distant, keeping, knowing you guys are there, as animals tend to do, keeping their distance from you. It seems because like you seem to be heading towards this racket, but as you would assume to grow closer, the sounds just stay at the same distance. It's kind of humid here. It's not exactly hot and miserable that you guys in your plate armor would, take any negative exhaustion points or anything, but you are definitely sweating up a storm in this humidity.
I have drank my water on my back. There's a little straw that comes out of the
I was
helmet.
going to say, you just set up one of those hiking backpacks with a straw.
Yeah. Nobody knows where he got it from. It's manifest.
You eventually find yourselves, though, as you kind of come into this little area. Tao, well, as he's leading the group, will suggest that it's a pretty good place to camp. It's a little clear area. It's not like down where if it rained and would get flooded or anything like that. But he suggests you guys to stop for the night. Mushin seems to be in agreement.
Yep, we'll
Yeah.
stop for the night.
I feel though that we should double up on watch. Whatever those creatures are that are tracking us, they're probably going to attack tonight. If they're smart, anyway.
I agree.
Alright.
Well, who takes what watch?
I'll take first watch again.
I will take
Tal,
last
you
again.
Go ahead and take second.
So, if we're doubling up, who's going with who now?
Philip is going to point at Gabrus.
Okay.
Neat.
Yeah, and I'll take third probably with Natasha again.
Yep.
And I guess I'll just take first as well, unless Lucian wants to do second or first.
Mushin will say, second watch is fine.
Alright.
All right, so you guys stop and eat. You set up. Tao kind of shows you guys how you can set up and be off the ground, be away from the bugs, and if it rains, you don't have to worry about getting swamped out or anything. But you guys head to bed, and first two up be Leo and Sheedan. All right, so as you guys are standing watch, anything you say, do while you're hanging out in this little clearing in the jungle?
Not really. I'll just have my Drake go around and try to sniff around as much as possible to see if they notice anything.
Okay, well, if you're having him keep watch, you can also roll perception for him as well.
Alright, let's see.
Oh, he's not sucking on Gabrish's finger.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
It's too early. I guess I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to do here. What would it be?
Well, your perception is wisdom, so just roll a wisdom check for it.
So it's actually plus 7. Plus, what's it? I have 2 plus my PB, so 4.
All right. You guys are kind of, keeping watch. You hear the Drake long before you guys see anything. The Drake, starts signaling and making noises. And you kind of turn and look at it, and you look in the direction that it's looking. And you guys can clear as day again see this giant at this point. Seems to be a little closer. Hairy, four-armed, humanoid, as it's kind of standing. There's like two trees that are right next to each other, and they kind of V away, and there's just a little gap in between them, and you can see this thing kind of like swaying side to side, looking through these gaps. And when you turn and you look at it, it locks eyes with you guys and just crouches down.
What should we do? I can send.
I'll wave at it.
You're asleep.
Yeah, you're still asleep.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Sorry.
I can send an kind of an arrow, but I could send it to hit it, or do it to hit the tree right next to it. I don't know.
At this point, it's gone.
Okay.
Or at least you think so. It saw you guys and ducked down.
Do you want to go over there and check it out? 'Cause it seemed like it's going to be a problem sooner or later.
Let's see if it's gonna get closer.
Okay.
'Cause we just
Alright.
get ready for whatever when it comes.
Alrighty. So you guys kind of hang out here, watching in that direction. Every once in a while, you'll peel off and look in other directions, but you're not seeing it. And eyes are starting to get heavy. Your knees are weak and starting to feel sleepy.
I'm spaghetti.
Falling on Mushin already. All right.
I wish.
No, I guess we'll go wake up Mushin and
Tao.
Tao. Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead and roll for Tao there. You tell those two anything, or you just
Yeah,
wake
we
them up and say
wake-
your turn?
We wake them up
Yeah.
and tell them about that thing in
Yeah.
the forest.
All right. So as you two take watch, Tao, who is not here, and Mushin, who's NPC, they kind of just stand there and they watch out. Mushin at some point turns to Tao and he says, I do not see anything. I think it's time we should go wake up the two ladies, Val and Natasha.
Yeah, he would just nod.
All right. Val and Natasha, you wake up from Tao and Mushin. Mushin kind of shaking you with the stump of his arm, and Tao with his actual hand. And then Mushin will say, the Shiden, Dragonborn. He points off in the direction, said he saw that thing again over there. But we are going to go to sleep.
Okay, we'll keep an eye out.
Hopefully it's as uneventful. And he gives you guys kind of a bow of respect and heads back over to his sleep sack.
All right.
But as you two take watch, go ahead and roll your perceptions.
I will assist her again.
Okay.
All right, the roll with advantage.
Good. Nope. It's fine.
On my screen, I don't know what happened for you guys, but it like sat between 20 and 2 and then shifted to 2.
Yes, it did. Exactly what it did.
But as you guys are kind of hanging out, you seemingly get distracted. You don't keep that great of a watch, but you don't get attacked. And your shift goes by. At this point, you feel like you should go wake up whoever's next.
All right. We'll wake Gabris up, I believe, and let him know that they saw the creature again that appears to be tailing us, but it went away. We didn't see anything on it, so.
All right. In which direction?
And I'll point in the direction towards where they said they saw it.
Then me and Philip, I think his name is, we will keep an eye on it. Mr. Philip, hello. Please wake up.
He wakes up, waves at you.
I wave back.
He gestures towards the forest and he like points 2 fingers at his eyes and then points them out as the forest at the
I
jungle.
give a thumbs up. I do like that weird pointy eye thing, but on the opposite end of the jungle because I don't think I'm watching the beach.
He nods his head and he kind of makes his way over to that side of the group and hangs out over there, or that side of the camp hangs out over there, keeping a watch. Why don't you go ahead and roll me your perception?
Cool. That almost rolled a 1, and I do believe my throat just fell into my asshole.
Yeah, my screen, it kind of danced around the 1 for a second.
It did.
All right. You don't hear anything, not even like moving or anything from Philip. Every once in a while, you look over your shoulder. He just seems to, he's not like standing there like a statue, but seems pretty serious about his job. But as you watch out in your direction, you think you see some kind of bird fly from tree to tree. And as you're standing there, kind of watching it, you see it fly closer tree to tree. And eventually, about 20 feet out, you see this very brightly colored bird just kind of sitting there, cocking its head from side to side, looking at you.
I'll cock my head from side to side too in a very bird-like fashion. I would like to. Can I roll an animal handling to vibe with the bird?
Sure, go for it.
Why not? I don't.
You roll a nat 1, we're screwed. Oh, that was so close.
It's a 7. That's a 9.
You watch as it kind of like brings its back foot up and starts doing something with its at its beak, and you can see stuff falling from it, probably breaking something up. But you do notice seems to be a couple more that kind of fly in. These brightly colored blue, green, red birds just kind of hanging out in the trees. I'm not sure that Gabrish would know what a parrot is, but very beautiful birds as you kind of just watch them.
I'm vibing with the birds. I found my people.
You do notice there's at one point their heads kind of all shoot in one direction and then they just scatter, and you're kind of standing there more intently now, just watching. But nothing seems to come out, approach you, make any sounds, and eventually you start to hear the rest of the group waking up, moving around behind you.
Hey guys, they have really pretty birds here.
I'm
Supposed to be
sure.
on watch.
I know. I was on watch. That's why I saw them. Your silence speaks volumes. Here's food.
Whenever you are all ready, I guess after we eat. Mission just kind of motions towards Philip and ask him if he can start packing stuff up, and you see Philip doing it. When you summon food, Philip helps him eat. He can take like his hands, put them together, and hold stuff with him, or not hit the stumps of his hands, and do things like that. So he's not like totally. He needs somebody 24/7 to do everything. But you guys all eat and drink, and I guess we'll go ahead and do one more days of travel before the session's over. So, what are your marching orders?
Same.
Same as before.
Yeah, we should just keep it the same.
All right. Sounds good. That's how I have your tokens already set up. Go ahead. Those of you roll nature for Tal as he guides you through. And then go ahead, the rest of you keeping watch, and roll my perceptions.
I think I'll go ahead and do.
Shit. I'm looking for the birds again. But I'm getting very distracted.
All right. Mushin does not watch out for things as he's busy looking at the map and trying to help guide you guys in the correct direction. He doesn't really know where he is because you're in the middle of a jungle. Not a lot of landmarks that you can go off of, but
for our guide to say.
Well, he doesn't say this, but he seems confident that where he was on the beach and you've been following the compass that you guys are about 2 days away now. Or you will be 2 days away after this is over, so you technically 3. But you continue onwards, keeping watch. You come make your stops, your rests, as you kind of find yourselves like going down, treading through some water, coming back up. Mushin kind of having us every once in a while guide you guys back into the right direction via the compass. Nothing seems to be following you as far as you can tell. Nothing comes and attacks you. Eventually you come to another spot where there's kind of just this bank of dirt and these trees growing on it and kind of leaning over, providing shelter. About halfway through this day of travel, it just starts drizzling rain. It's not pouring down, but it's definitely making things more slick, more muddy. So when you come to this overcropping of trees, it is a nice relief from the water, from the rain. It's a weird mixture, being somewhere where it's raining, even if just slightly, but yet still being hot enough that you're sweating, making it kind of a miserable experience as you take up under this tree. What are your watches going to be tonight?
I'll do the same.
I'll mix it up. I'm gonna do third watch this time. What up?
Oh no. Do we have anybody for fourth watch then?
I guess that means we're on 4th watch then.
Okay.
You know what? I'll have Tao go on first watch with Leo, so somebody can pick up second watch if they wish. Stack up.
No, I'll do that.
Mushin will take watch with Gubrish. Well, isn't it Leo and Tower taking first watch?
Yeah, first watch. Tao was,
Sheedan's going to take second watch.
Yep. I guess with Philip. Or I'm confused.
Oh, I have it down. Lee, Tao, Sheedan, Philip, Gubrish, Mushin, Natasha, and Val. So
Okay.
Lee and Tao, go ahead and roll.
okay, Tao is just gonna give the assist action, so I'll just roll this with advantage. Yep, so 23.
All right, 1 second. Alrighty. You're kind of standing there watching, close proximity to Tao. You kind of see him looking somewhere, and he just seems to be squinting. You ask him like what he's looking at. He's just like, I don't know. I thought I saw something over there move. And you're looking, and you're focusing real hard in the area that he's gazing towards, and you think you see a human face looking back at you, a good probably 70 feet out. As you see it, it just seems to slink behind the tree.
Keep an eye on it. See if it moves or if I see anything else move around the area. Like it's moving away or something like that.
All right.
You know?
Well, as you continue on watching, you don't see anything like move out of that area. You don't see it again. Seems pretty much like it's gone, you would think, and comes time for second watch.
Yeah, and I'll wake up Mushin and Tao. I'm not sorry. Philip and she didn't.
Okay. I mean, you can wake up whoever you want. It just might not be their turn. But you wake them up. Philip
Then
kind of gets
I'll
up
let
and
them
just...
know that same creature came back, and it was around that area. I didn't see any movement after it spotted us, and it kind of ducked and left.
All right.
Right. So you two, go ahead and roll me with advantage. Philip will just assist you.
All right.
You're standing there, and it's hard to tell. A couple 100 feet away, you just start hearing just this howling sound, and it seems different from anything else you've heard before. Seems almost humanoid. Sounds like a person maybe howling. And then you can hear really far off in the distance a very similar howl from a different direction. And then you hear another one from a different direction. And then you hear the one near you howl again. A little bit closer. Not too close, but it's definitely kind of taking, a few strides towards you. And then like off to the left from where you heard it before, just howl out again. But being that you're in the jungle and there's so much vegetation in here, you don't see anything. You just hear this howling. It's not loud enough seemingly to wake up the group, but you can definitely hear it.
Alright. That's creepy. I guess we'll just keep watching until they get closer until we see it, I guess.
All right. Well, the rest of your watch goes by uneventful. Who do you wake up?
Then Gabris and Mushin.
Okay. Go ahead, Raven Knight, and roll me with advantage because Mushin's going to help you.
And I'll basically tell them what I heard. I heard multiple, humanoid howling in multiple directions.
Well, that's dandy. All right, we will do our best. All right. How do I roll advantage?
You roll the dice.
And they seemed
then,
further away, just to clarify that, besides the one that's closer to us.
Yeah, so the roll with advantage, you roll the dice, and then in the chat, you just hover over the number, and there'll be a plus and minus. You just click the plus to roll for advantage.
No, I literally don't know how to roll it. I screw it. I'm not just rolling it twice. Who cares? God hates me.
You looking at fucking birds again?
Like, Mushin's looking with me at this point because he's helping.
You're standing there, and you do indeed notice these parrots come back in again, these colorful birds, and a little bit more of them this time. And they kind of just hanging out, seeming to be interested in you. You point them out to Mushin, and he agrees they're very gorgeous birds. But eventually it comes time for you to go back to sleep, wake up the next in line.
Good evening, ladies. It is your turn. The birds have returned. They are over there. Have fun with that information. Then I just fall into my bedroll. Clang.
Cool.
You two can roll however you wish.
Again, while I'm assisting.
Okay.
I'm glad I'm assisting.
Okay.
This is our life now.
You guys keep a watch out. You every once in a while look over and see the birds that Gabrish pointed out to you guys, but nothing attacks, nothing draws your attention. You don't hear any sounds, you don't see any movement, and you eventually start to hear people stir from their slumber. And we will go ahead and end our session there as you guys start day 3 of 4.
All right.
Sounds good.
You guys can all go ahead and give yourself 2,500 XP.